another tool in refusing abduction and something to help you stay balanced is meditation. And that's gotten a bad rap a little bit sometimes. I'm reading a book on the New Age religion, the one world religion, should I say. And in that, they're talking about how dangerous it is, especially if you're looking at it from only giving credit to the negative side. Well, I like to look at it on the positive side where meditation, they're saying if you get into meditation and get into an altered state, you leave yourself wide open, vulnerable to any demon or whatever that comes through. But I'm saying before I meditate, I ask God for protection and for guidance. So it's just one, like the connection you're saying, right here. Mm-hmm. Not to anything and everything that's out there.
Right. So you're meditating, and you are meditating and asking for guidance to come from the true source, which is the true source for you and me, which is the white light and God.
Well, and Kathy said that praying is talking to God, and meditation, in my opinion, is just listening. We have to be quiet, have some quiet time, and listen. We'll never find the answers if we never listen. Everybody prays and I don't get any answers, but do you ever listen?
Right. And too, when you're meditating, you're asking for balance. You're asking for enhanced knowledge. And you're asking for your intuition to be increased and for further instruction on how to live a spiritual life.
And that's the next step is, you can use the light and you can meditate and you can pray and then listen and try to stay balanced. But if you're not living properly, you go out and party and excessively drink or use drugs or stay up late and go crazy, and that just doesn't help you to stay balanced, and it doesn't help you to stay protected from the dark side.
Right. You have to choose to live spiritually. You have to choose to make correct choices, to be kind to other people, and just live a spiritual life to the best of your ability. So it is a lifestyle. It's not something that you try. It's something that you live on a daily basis. And then finally, when we're talking about all these tools, you have to have 100% faith and belief, 100% that it will work and that what you have requested will be given to you.
Our alien contacts have said one speck of doubt is like a pinprick on a balloon. It just takes one. So what other light side examples?
I maybe had one example where I don't know what could have happened, but I was walking down the hall of I lived in a trailer at the time. I was walking down the hall of my mobile home. And as I was walking down the hall, my mother was walking down the hall the opposite direction. And I continued to go to my bed, got in bed, and when I got in bed, she came back into my bedroom, stood at my bedside, and tried to get in bed with me. And for some reason, I stiff-armed her, and I said, no, Mom. And she continued, and she still tried to get in bed, and I'm like... Then I grabbed her hair, and it was almost like a battle, or something started ensuing, and then I think I started realizing something's not right here. And I started praying, God, please help me, please protect me. And as soon as I did that, it stopped.
The interesting thing about it is that your mother did not live with you.
No. I lived in Amro, and she lived in Oshkosh. So whatever this was, entity or whatever it was, possibly shape-shifted to appear to me as my mother.
Deceptive.
But, yes. To deceive me, yes. And after this all happened, I sat in bed for a while just thinking, what just happened? What just happened? And then I remember, in the dream or whatever the experience was happening, I remember that the arm or her arm was slightly elongated and the fingers were elongated. So I knew something was not right. So I was very grateful that I had the knowledge. I knew enough to call out to God and ask for help.
And knowing enough, I think, means, if I'm interpreting correctly, using your instincts.
Yes.
Because that is like, that's a direct connection to the Creator. If your first instinct, your first thought is, this is not right, that usually is the correct thought.
Yes. It didn't happen right away, but I realized, and like you said, I just thought, something's not right. Listen to that.
And act accordingly.
Yes. Or if you're fearful, listen to that. Do not ignore it. And ask for help. Ask for help and believe with 100% that you will get the help that you've requested.
And the light side members, every one of us have had, I call it the tormentors or interference from the negative entities, and we've learned how to protect ourselves. But we're not, we do it this certain way, and that's what our pamphlet says. But people do it a number of different ways. We had a conference recently, and we had 3 people speak on their experience on how they refused alien abduction. So we're going to tell you some of their examples, and then later on we'll tell you there's a website that we found other examples yet. So it's as unique as each individual. How you, but there is a common thread. There is a common thread between all of them.
Yes.
Now we'd like to talk a little bit about some of the other examples besides the light side examples. Several years ago, there was a annual event called UFO Days, and there were 3 examples of how several different people refused alien abduction.
Dawn was a single mother at the time, and she had 2 children. And she had a terrible feeling that something was wrong, that something evil presence maybe in her home, and it may have been threatening her children. And so she began praying to God. She said that all of a sudden she had this most incredible negative feeling that overwhelmed her. It scared her so much that she tried to move, and she could not move. So she began praying to God, please let me move. Let me get out of my body, out of this bed. And she said, then I did. I forced myself to get up across the hall, and I saw my daughter. And she said this was unbelievable at the time. When she was telling her story, you could really, really feel the emotion. That this was not just something that she was making up. It was a very traumatic experience for her when she felt that her children may be threatened. When she went into her daughter's room, there was a light that was shining down upon her daughter. And she said around her daughter were the aliens. She said, actually, I had never seen one or had done research. So this was, the things were in her daughter's room, and they were evil. She knew they were evil. When she touched one, they left. And the next thing she remembered was she was in her bed, and she jumped out of bed, and she ran to check on her children, and they were fine.